Take a close look at this image. Alyssa Thomas's fist is pressed directly against Caitlin Clark's throat while 3 Mercury players stand over her as she lies on the court. Then hear what Thomas said a few days later. "I didn't even know that play happened." That wasn't a convincing explanation. It sounded more like an admission, and she may not even realize what she revealed. In this video, we'll break down why that statement is raising so many questions, examine why some people believe the contact was intentional, criticize the league's response, and highlight the players who have finally started speaking out. Let's get right into it, but first, tell me in the comments what you think the league should do after Thomas's latest remarks.
How do you think it affects your ability to play going forward?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. At the end of the day, it's basketball. Basketball is meant to be physical. Like I said, I didn't even know that play happened. If you watch the clip back, no one in the stands, their bench knew that it happened. But again, that doesn't change anything of how we play basketball. Basketball is a context. The hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident. No one even knew it happened. It's just a...
Go back 2 days before the incident, to June 22nd. In just 8 seconds, the game exploded with 6 technical fouls and 1 ejection. From the opening tip until the final buzzer, DeWanna Bonner stayed right in Caitlin Clark's face, and the matchup ended in complete chaos. Many people thought the drama would fade once the game was over, but that didn't happen. After the final whistle, Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts stepped up to the podium and made a statement that caught plenty of attention because it wasn't the kind of comment fans normally hear after such an intense rivalry game.
Fun games to get in. It got a little chippy in the fourth. I'm sure they'll remember it, and I know we'll remember it too.
You try to get the team refocused after what happened there in the fourth quarter and get everybody back centered and trying.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a competitive group, a veteran group. They've been around this for a long time. They're not afraid of the smoke. We're going to compete at a high level. And you just stay with it.
Then Alyssa Thomas made comments that drew even more attention. She said the team planned to be more physical and stick to its game plan moving forward. On the surface, that may not seem unusual, but she said it before the June 24th rematch even began. That means the strategy had already been discussed well before the game. Some critics argued this shows the physical approach was intentional rather than something that happened in the moment. Then Stephanie White entered the conversation. Having coached Thomas for 2 seasons in Connecticut, White knows her style of play better than most. She understands how Thomas competes with intensity while staying close to the edge of the rules. White also publicly said that Caitlin Clark doesn't enjoy highly physical play. Supporters of this view believe those comments gave opposing defenders a clear idea of how to challenge Clark, especially players who had previously worked under White.
Offensively, you guys were getting shots.
Yeah, offensively, we know we can attack them however we want. That's one of the key emphasis when you play them. Just moving them and trying to get to the basket. I think when we do that and attack them and get to the free throw line, it's...
Then DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas's fiance, used one word after the June 24th game that immediately grabbed attention: revenge. She didn't describe it as a tough win or a statement victory. She called it revenge. Critics point to the timeline and argue that the comment carries more weight when viewed alongside everything that happened before the game. Coach Nate Tibbetts said the team would remember the previous matchup. Thomas spoke about sticking to the game plan and playing more physically. And Stephanie White had already discussed Clark's struggles against physical defense. 2 days later, Thomas was involved in a sequence that included contact to Clark's throat, a knee-to-groin collision, and stepping over Clark while she remained on the floor. Some believe those moments were connected rather than random. They also question why the officials failed to address the incidents during the game, arguing that the league had opportunities to step in and better protect its biggest stars, but did not act.
Guys, do you share that frustration? What would you have told the league?
Honestly, I didn't even know I was being suspended until 10 minutes before it was put on social media. We still have yet to hear anything from Kathy. it's no surprise. You can see what's being said on social media. And, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but as usual, she remains silent. And that's unfortunate when, you know, our lives are being threatened.
Now go back and listen carefully to what Alyssa Thomas told reporters after the game. If you believe the physical approach had already been planned before tip-off, her comments take on a very different meaning. Sitting in front of the cameras, Thomas described the incident as simply part of a physical game and said basketball is meant to be played that way. No one is arguing that basketball shouldn't be physical, but many critics believe there is a clear difference between tough, legal competition and contact that goes beyond the normal limits of the game. From their perspective, the contact with Caitlin Clark's throat crossed that line and should not be dismissed as routine physical basketball.
I think it's not even about the suspension. If that's what they felt was necessary in that moment, then so be it. But I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but you know, time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, you know, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So at some point, the league needs to put a stand on it.
Then came the comment that many people believe seriously damaged her credibility. Alyssa Thomas said, "I didn't even know that play happened." That statement immediately drew criticism because multiple camera angles and slow-motion replays clearly captured the contact. Many viewers found it difficult to believe she was unaware of what had happened. She then added that no one in the crowd or on the bench even knew the play occurred. Critics argue that this doesn't deny the incident happened, but instead focuses on whether anyone noticed it in real time. To them, the issue isn't whether the officials missed it during the game, but whether the contact itself deserved accountability, regardless of whether a whistle was blown.
You know, the playing the game, being suspended, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this over basketball. A lot of us, myself included, didn't even know the play took place until after, you know, the game. And, you know, now we're being painted as thugs.
One thing many critics noticed was what never appeared during that press conference. There was no apology, no expression of regret, and no clear statement of concern for Caitlin Clark after the incident. Instead, Alyssa Thomas focused on her suspension, the impact on her family, and her frustration with the league. Meanwhile, Clark, who left the game with a back injury, received very little attention in Thomas's remarks, and when she was mentioned, critics felt the incident was often described as if it wasn't a serious issue.
Experienced something like that before?
A couple years ago when we played Indy in the playoffs, same thing, but not to this extent. You know, our families are being threatened, kids are being threatened, people are sending racial slurs and all types of stuff. And, you know, there's a difference between trolling and there's a difference between hatred. And the hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident. No one even knew it happened. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, the league has to do better.
She stood at the podium and insisted that nobody saw the play, as if that settled the debate. But many fans argue that people did see it, including the officials, who chose not to call a foul during the game. Critics also point back to the earlier comments about playing more physically, saying the approach had been discussed before the opening tip. After reviewing the play, the league upgraded the contact to a flagrant 2 foul and issued a 1-game suspension. Many people felt that punishment was too light given the seriousness of the incident. In its official announcement, the league described the play as a non-basketball act. To many observers, that wording acknowledged the contact went beyond a normal basketball play, even if the league stopped short of using stronger language to describe it.
I think it's not even about the suspension. If that's what they felt was necessary in that moment, then so be it. But I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but you know, time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, you know, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So at some point, the league needs to put a
During the game, no foul was called for the contact involving the knee, none for the contact to Caitlin Clark's throat, and none for the moment when Alyssa Thomas stepped over Clark while she was still on the floor. At halftime, Stephanie White spoke with the officials and told them about the incidents, but according to White, they responded that they had not seen them. Even after that discussion, the second half continued with heavy officiating, including 11 fouls called against Indiana in the fourth quarter alone. Many critics questioned that contrast, arguing the officials missed key moments involving Clark but had no trouble calling fouls in other situations later in the game.
Thomas don't take accountability. So now there's a whole smear campaign on the Caitlin Clark fan base. Here come Kathy trying to come out and save face for Alyssa Thomas and blame the fans. It's crazy, man. This is crazy. I hope y'all are ready to grow abs and bust open your rib cages, because y'all are going to laugh so hard at how obtuse and despicable this commissioner and league is.
After the game, Stephanie White praised the league's review process, but many critics questioned that reaction because Caitlin Clark, whose popularity has helped drive record crowds and television ratings, was already sidelined with a back injury by the time the review took place. They argue that reviewing a play after the damage has already been done is not the same as preventing it during the game. The discussion then shifted to the WNBA. Journalist Christine Brennan asked the union a direct question about whether putting a fist into another player's throat should be punishable. Instead of giving a clear answer, the union responded that it respectfully declined to comment. That response frustrated many observers, especially because Clark is also a member of the same players' union, leading some to believe the organization missed an opportunity to address the issue directly.
NBA vehemently condemns any and all forms of hate. The safety and well-being of everyone in our community is always the league's top priority. We are aware of Alyssa Thomas's comments, and what she and her teammates have experienced is completely unacceptable and not representative of the WNBA community. The league and our security team have been in contact with the Phoenix Mercury organization and remain committed to protecting all players. Sounds so good, don't it? Hey, you know what, Kathy? You know what you forgot at the end? Except Caitlin Clark.
Many critics have pointed to the difference in how quickly the league responds to criticism of fans compared with its response to on-court incidents involving players. They argue that public statements and press releases often appear within hours when fan behavior becomes the focus. But after a nationally televised play that resulted in Caitlin Clark leaving with an injury, the outcome was a one-game suspension followed by praise for the league's review process. To those critics, the priority seemed to be protecting the league's image rather than addressing player safety. As league officials faced questions, Courtney Williams offered her own perspective during a live stream. Speaking more broadly about players reacting to online criticism, she shared a direct and honest opinion that many viewers felt was more straightforward than the league's official messaging.
And Caitlin Clark is part of the players' union, which means their job is to protect the health and well-being on behalf of the player for the whole league. And in my opinion, they're making it very clear. They are telling you right here, we don't have Caitlin Clark's back.
Courtney Williams kept her message simple. Don't let social media control your life. She said the internet isn't real life, and if someone is bothering you online, block them and move on. That was her entire approach. No long explanations, no public complaints. Just deal with it and keep playing. Many critics compared that mindset with Alyssa Thomas's response, arguing that while both faced online attention, they handled it very differently. In their view, Williams encouraged personal responsibility, while Thomas focused on defending herself instead of addressing the questions many people wanted answered. The discussion also turned to Sophie Cunningham, whose actions during the June 22nd matchup stood out to many fans. When tensions rose between Caitlin Clark and Awana Bonner, Cunningham quickly stepped in, leading supporters to see her as a teammate determined to stand up for Clark and make it clear that overly physical play would not go unanswered.
So I think when you treat the internet like a real place, that's when you get everybody like, oh my God. But it's like, bro, you don't know these people in real life. Like, just press the block button, bro. Just press the block button and then move on.
Myisha Hines-Allen also showed her support by stepping in during that same game, ultimately receiving an ejection while defending her point guard. That meant Indiana had to finish the rest of the night without one of its key rotation players, a sacrifice the Fever appeared willing to accept. Many observers saw that as a sign the team was no longer prepared to let Caitlin Clark take repeated physical contact without a response. To them, this represents a clear change in Indiana's approach. Instead of simply moving on after hard fouls or tense moments, players like Sophie Cunningham and Heinz Allen have shown they are ready to stand up for their teammate, making opponents think twice before escalating physical play.
In real time last night, I did not see that happen. I don't, none of our team saw it happen, because I promise you if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing.
After the confrontation, basketball delivered its own memorable moment. DeWanna Bonner went to the free throw line and missed, and Alyssa Thomas followed with a miss of her own. Caitlin Clark didn't react or say anything. She simply watched as both shots failed to fall. Many fans summed it up with a familiar phrase, "Ball don't lie." Beyond the action on the court, however, critics argue the bigger impact has been off the court. They point to concerns about fan interest and attendance, noting that during a nationally televised CBS broadcast, cameras showed noticeable empty sections inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Observers also highlighted a sharp drop in ticket prices, with some floor seats reportedly selling for as little as $16 despite often costing well over $100 when Clark is playing. Many believe that reflected disappointment from fans who expected to see a different product than the one they ultimately received.
It just shows that we're going to stick together and we're gonna have each other's backs. So I mean, it's big for us.
Not talk to you about you being nice off the court, but that kind of player on the court. Was it fun for you a little bit to get the fire out in a moment like that, stand up for your team?
I mean, I'm going to stand up for all my teammates. It doesn't matter who it is. That's just who I am. So yeah.
The way that everybody seemed to kind of get involved in that, and including Raven, the rookie, coming in there, I guess, just what does that say about this group and where you guys are at as a team?
I mean, that we're going to have each other's backs. I think that's the biggest thing. And just sending a message, I guess, around that, like, we're going to have each other's.
Many commentators pointed to reports of a significant drop in CBS television ratings when Caitlin Clark was out of the lineup, arguing that such a decline during one of the league's biggest broadcast windows could have long-term business implications. They believe television partners closely monitor audience numbers, and major swings in viewership can influence future media negotiations. Critics also noted that the league recently agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement with substantial salary increases and a much higher salary cap. In their view, the league's recent growth in revenue and visibility has been heavily influenced by Clark's popularity, making it especially important to protect one of its biggest attractions rather than risk losing the player many believe has helped drive that financial momentum.
As you can see, the entire arena is up for sale. For sale by owner. 2 tickets for a make-believe basketball game featuring a collection of unknown players who go unrecognized at family reunions. The cheapest seats for this instant classic are selling for $16. Seats in the lower bowl are selling for less than $100.
Many critics argue that when attendance, ticket prices, and television viewership all decline at the same time, it reflects more than just a temporary drop in interest. They believe some fans were frustrated by the incident involving Caitlin Clark, the league's response, and the one-game suspension that followed. Pointing to empty seats, lower ticket prices, and reduced ratings projections, these observers see those numbers as a sign that some fans are expressing their dissatisfaction through their viewing and spending choices. In their view, Alyssa Thomas's comments failed to resolve the controversy, and the league's handling of the situation left many questions unanswered. Share your thoughts in the comments on how the league should have responded, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates, analysis, and the biggest stories from around the game. Check out the next video on your screen, and we'll see you there.